Alright, so part 2 of Flat Earth. Let's go back and let's look again at the claim that was made by our nice little Christian friends that God, upon the waters of the deep, this will be the waters of the deep. Oh look, waters of the deep. Oh wait, here, let's do a better one. Look, waters of the deep. He drew a circle. Okay? And then he's going to set a dome on top of that circle, which I guess he made the circle this way. He drew a circle. Now notice that they didn't say he formed a ball or he rolled it together or anything like that. No. He drew a circle. Just like that one. He drew a circle. On top of this circle, he placed a dome. You know what? This will be a better example. Let's take this guy. Okay. Look, it's a circle. Okay? It's also flat. And we're going to place a dome on top. Now, this is what I'm saying they thought that the earth was like. Okay? This little guy here will be God. Okay? I'm saying that this is what they thought the earth was like. However, we know that the earth is actually like this guy. And the sun is like my lamp up here, shedding its light. Am I right? Or are they right that they thought that the world was in fact round and we're just misinterpreting the lines? Okay, let's go back to that Proverbs 26 and 27. Proverbs 8, 26 and 27. He drew a circle on the face of the deep. All right, we did that one. It was not the first bits of soil. He drew this on the face of the deep. Okay. Isaiah 40:22 says that he sits above the circle of the earth, and the heavens are like grasshoppers. Okay. Now here comes the good part. Okay. So we have our flat earth, and this is what I'm suggesting that they thought. They're saying that he was sitting above the circle of the earth, meaning it was round, and the inhabitants were like grasshoppers. So he sat above the earth. Okay, well, here's my earth, and I'm above, and oh, they look like little bitty tiny grasshoppers. And I'm going to stretch out the heavens, hey, like a curtain. It's actually a towel, but you get the idea. And spreads them like a tent to live in. Oh, look, I made a tent by pitching my heavens over the top. Or, if we go back to my original example, here is my heavens, and it's a tent spread out like a curtain over my flat earth. Okay? Now, notice it does not say that it wraps around like a bandage or a bubble to live in. Sorry, I didn't say that right. It doesn't say that he sat on one side of the ball and wraps around like a bandage, a bubble to live in, which will be the equivalent to saying. So let's take the exact same verse, and now let's use our ball. So can I sit above the circle of the earth? Okay, yeah, I can sit above the circle of the earth. My inhabitants are still like grasshoppers. Okay, now I'm going to stretch out the heavens like a curtain and like a tent for them to live in. Okay, well, I guess my tent would have to be on the side, but there's more people all the way around, so that doesn't really work either now, does it? I would have to wrap it around. But that's not what it says. Okay. Now, what about that dream of Nebuchadnezzar? Here's our ball. He thought that there was a tree at the center of it. Where is the center of this here earth? It's in the middle of our ball, isn't it? If you're talking about here, and it grew all the way to the top of the heaven, or sky in this case, you would not be able to see all the way around to the other side. In fact, you really couldn't see very far at all. But that's beside the point. We talked about that a little bit. Anyway, Jesus on the top of the mountain is the same thing. And then we talk about the ends of the earth. All right, let's go to the one where Job 38:13. All right, we talked about all the other ends of the earth. But this is the one that I like the most. 38:13 says, talking about the sun coming up, that it might take the earth by the edges and shake the wicked out of it. Okay, so here's our earth. Can you please find me the edge? Can you please tell me how my light over here that doesn't move is going to grab my earth by its edges and shake the evil out of it, or wicked out of it, whatever the words were. Kind of can't happen now, can it? Hey, how about if you thought the world was flat, okay, and it had a dome over it, and that instead of my lamp, that there was lights in the dome, okay? Lights are in the dome. Now, in this case, if the light is coming here, the light can grab the edge and it can shake, because those are your edges. I'm going to try my best not to break this thing because the queen would kill me. If the sun is coming up over the edge here, and it's just in the dome, it could come up and grab the edge and shake the wicked right on out of this thing. But it couldn't do that with our ball now, could it? Moving on. So there's going to be a dome in the midst of the waters. We talked about that. The lights in the dome. We talked about that. Covered all the little fun verses. Okay, now let's get to the other fun ones. What about the earth rotating around the sun? Psalms 93:1. He established the world and it shall never be moved. Okay, well, does it float in space? 1 Samuel 2:8. For the pillars of the earth are the Lord's, and on them he has set the world. Pillar, earth, and he has set the world. Now, there is another verse that does say that he hangs the earth on nothing, which they use that as well. But that's basically a contradiction. Alright, does the earth rotate around the sun, or is it the other way around? Joshua 10, verses 12 and 13. On the day when the Lord gave the Amorites over the Israelites, Joshua spoke to the Lord, and he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand still at Gibeon, and moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stopped, until the nation took vengeance on their enemies. Is it not written in the book of Jashar? The sun stopped in mid-heaven and did not hurry to set for about a whole day. Now, the moon, at least they got right, but we did that one on the video, The Day the Earth Stood Still. Alright. So, the earth doesn't move. It's set on a pillar or floats on nothing. We don't know. The sun is in the dome, along with the stars and the moons. What about rain? Where does rain come from? Alright, in Genesis we're told that the sky separates the waters above and below. This water is where the rain comes from, according to the Bible, not from the clouds. Don't believe me? 2 Chronicles 6:26. When the heaven is shut up and there is no rain. Malachi 3:10. If I see if I will not open the windows of heaven for you and pour down for you an overflowing blessing. I'm going to open the windows of heaven. See, they thought the sky was blue because there was water up there. It's also why they called it a mirror. They thought it was reflecting the waters. But, you know, it's different authors with their different takes. Revelations 11:6. They have authority to shut the sky so that no rain may fall during the days of their prophesying. Now remember, all this water is supposed to have been dumped out in the days of Noah during the flood. That's what they'll keep telling you. Yet here are these repeated verses after the flood where there are still windows of heaven. Okay, which is the exact same way it was worded in Genesis 7, I believe, 7 or 8, whichever one. They talk about the waters coming down. All right. Genesis 7, 11, and 12. When the windows of the heaven were open, the rain fell on the earth 40 days and 40 nights. All right. So there you have it. That many more problems with this whole story. But am I right? Is that really what they thought? Or am I just twisting it around? Part 3 goes to history, and we find out which one of us is correct.